Things move fast in the Championship. International break done, round 6 done, and we're at the start of one of those juicy 3-game weeks. Here are my latest hot takes. 1. Eastern Promise. Something is definitely cooking over in East Anglia so far this season, as for the third time in the first 6 rounds, both Ipswich and Norwich were victorious. In fact, they both won 1-0 as Ipswich went on the road to Sheffield Wednesday to take 3 points, and Norwich took down Stoke at Carrow Road. The two clubs are currently 3rd and 4th. Stop the clocks now, and you'd have the potential for some kind of playoff meeting between the two. This did happen before, back in 2015. It was a fairly routine win for Ipswich at Hillsborough, and if you ever needed any evidence of the difference between ownership, either supporting a newly promoted side and adding to it versus ownership basically throwing a grenade at one, this was it. Two clubs, a cigarette paper between them last season in League One. They looked miles apart, and they are in the table with Ipswich currently 20 places ahead of Sheffield Wednesday. Norwich had to show a little bit more in the way of character to get past a Stoke side who gave it a pretty good go in the second half. Fullback Jack Stacey, one of a few summer signings added to bring a bit more know-how to this Norwich setup, got the goal as the Canaries bounced back really well from that defeat at Rotherham before the international break. They're a place apart at the moment, and honestly, take the rivalry out of the equation. I bet if you told either set of fans right now that the two sides will be a place apart come what may, you'd be forgiven for assuming that that meant at the right end of the table. 2. Red alert. The great Brian Clough said, football is a simple game overcomplicated by idiots. Now, I'd never want to get on Cloughie's wrong side and come across as an idiot, but simply put, if you can keep 11 players on the pitch, you'll probably increase your chances of winning. We saw a couple of sides this weekend fail to do just that, and you can probably put their defeats down to 2 vital red cards, one very early and one very late in the day. At QPR, the very impactful new signing, Jack Colback, got his marching orders on just 21 minutes, with his improving QPR side already having taken the lead 10 minutes earlier. There are games and opponents where teams are able to hold on in such a situation, but this early, against a good possession-based attacking outfit like Sunderland, this was always going to be a slog. That said, Rangers nearly made half-time in front, but vitally, Jack Clarke levelled things up in first half stoppage time. The second half shot count said Sunderland 16, QPR 3, and the inevitable goals came, with the Black Cats ending up 3-1 winners. At Watford, it was Birmingham fullback Lee Buchanan who saw red. Buchanan's red came in markedly different circumstances though, as it was a second yellow with the game still 0-0 and 88 minutes old. All of a sudden, a very 0-0 looking game was snatched by Watford, who took advantage of the 10 versus 11 dynamic with stoppage time goals from Rajovic again and Andrews to secure a 2-0 win. QPR and Birmingham will feel the red cards have cost them points. We'll see if either side has learned by the weekend as they play each other on Friday night in the watch-along game. Hopefully a full complement of 22 ends the game on the pitch for that one. 3. Winless wonders. We've already touched on Sheffield Wednesday, but unfortunately our 2 other winless sides not only didn't get their first victory, but made it a clean sweep of defeats down at the bottom. Middlesbrough continued to give me vibes of a nice car with a problem with the starter motor. You know if it gets going that it'll be a nice smooth ride, but when you fire up the ignition, just chugs and splutters and doesn't start. Borough have been spluttering for 6 games now. They lost 2-1 at Blackburn this weekend. Yes, good players. Yes, chances created and a healthy XG, but still no to a victory this season. In the South Wales derby, much to the delight of Barnsley's Twitter admin, it was victory for Cardiff over Swansea. Why are Barnsley so bothered? Well, since Michael Duff left Oakwell in the summer, he's been unable to win a single game with Swansea. I'm sure Duff will be none too bothered about what his former club think, but he'll certainly be bothered about what the fans of his current club Swansea think, especially being this latest defeat came against their fiercest rival Cardiff in a game they've dominated over recent times. Tanner and Ramsey got the vital goals to pop Cardiff up to 16th. In perfect, fortuitous fixture computer fashion, easy for me to say, Sheffield Wednesday play Borough midweek and then Swansea at the weekend. I know we joke that bad teams don't even win against each other, but if we end this week with a load of draws and still zeros in that W column, then these three are in proper trouble. 4. I am your leader. Preston are celebrating another win and another week at number 1 in the Championship charts. In the battle of Lowe versus Schumacher, Preston defeated Plymouth to record their 5th win in a row and keep them clear of all the chasers. Only 5 teams managed a 5-game winning streak in the entirety of the Championship last season. Preston have done it within their first 6 games, with Holmes and Miller getting the goals. When they went top, I said the fixtures looked okay for North End for that run to keep building, and so it's proved so far. Sliding up in there into second place on goal difference are Leicester, who we covered in the watch-along on Friday night as they took apart Southampton. In what was a fairly loose game all round, the Foxes absolutely punished some pretty hopeless defending from Southampton to crack home 4 goals and bounce back from that defeat against Hull before the international break. I still don't think I've seen Leicester dominate a game yet in the way we heard Maresca describe pre-season. Pretty nice problem to have when you're winning 4-1 and you've got 5 victories out of 6 already. 5, the first of many. I can control many things, but I can't control time. And by the time you're watching this, you may well know more about what I'm about to speak to you about than I do right now. Huddersfield boss Neil Warnock hinted at the weekend that he would be discussing his future today in the 1 p.m. press conference, that being Monday. The rumours say he'll be going, unhappy with the back end he's got, or indeed didn't get, in the summer transfer window. Huddersfield beat Rotherham on Saturday and have now won back-to-back games either side of the international break to put them in the group of clubs currently above the bottom 6. Whether Warnock was just busy leading the press and merry dance, or his departure is actually imminent, will be known soon enough. 2 things are pretty certain though. Whether Warnock is the first to go or not, it's not unreasonable to expect double figures for managers leaving their posts in the Championship each season. This one being no different, even though we haven't had one go yet. And it's also not unreasonable to assume that an available Warnock could, well, still pop up somewhere else in the Championship as the season goes on. There are the hot takes for round 6. It's one of these crazy 3-game week thingies, so things will change really fast, believe you me, and I'll hopefully get more of an opportunity to talk about Hull and Coventry. Bristol City and West Brom, they all played out draws this weekend. You will also notice that I didn't mention Millwall versus Leeds, and you can click here to find out exactly why. Well, I'm going to tell you anyway, because I was there at the Den, so check out the vlog on another nice afternoon for that Leeds front 4.